All the greetings. We're going to be going over this month's Jurassic World Evolution 3 reveals, content, all that sort of stuff that has happened in September. And a lot has happened. So we had several database reveals, we had a few species showcases, a couple of feature focuses, as well as a new species that was revealed just this morning, and as well as all sorts of other things that were found in the preview event. So without further ado, let's get started.
Meet the Tropiognathus, an eye-catching pterosaur, best known for its impressive wingspan and long crested beak. These striking flyers prefer small groups and need careful population management to keep stress levels low. While not overly social, adults and juveniles often share space, offering subtle, natural interactions for guests to enjoy. Tropiognathus do best with minimal crowding, and maybe don't put a tapejara in there with them. Trust us on that one. Soaring, bold, elegant. The Tropiognathus can take your exhibits to new heights.
So we get a good look at the returning Tropiognathus, which was definitely one of the better and more notable pterosaurs from the previous game. We do also get a good look at these pterosaurs walking and soaring through the aviaries. It was definitely a pterosaur that I wanted back, simply because it is iconic. It's what is technically the Ornithomimus from Walking with Dinosaurs. And we do get one shot in particular that also suggests that some of the pterosaurs may actually fly together as a flock, which would be really cool to see implemented into the game, as that would certainly make the behaviors in the aviary a little bit more dynamic. And we also do get the confirmation that pterosaurs can fly under rock arches, so that's going to be really cool. So in our first swathe of species that were added to the database, it included the following. Going across the board, we have Giganotosaurus. We also get a look at Sauropelta that was seen in the Building Our Parks feature focus. Atrociraptor for the first time was seen here, and an interesting detail that was pointed out was the male does have quills, just like the male Velociraptor does. We also see Ankylodocus, which is unable to breed, though I do hope that they add juvenile and male options to the hybrids in the future. They don't have to functionally be able to breed, but at least allowing us to release those versions of the hybrids would be nice. We also see Iguanodon in its Dominion form. Attenborosaurus also returns, one of the more accurate plesiosaur designs from the last game. Tropiognathus has the species showcase, followed by the beautiful Guanlong from the deluxe edition. Homalocephale is also returning, the test subject for all brutal carnivore kill animations by many creators. Ceratosaurus also returns with the male sporting a particularly blade-like horn on its snout. And Ornithomimus. Moving on.
Welcome back, park managers. In this module, we'll be taking a closer look at the work you'll be doing with DIN across the globe. Cabot Finch, our managing director, set up DIN in response to the massive dinosaurs struggling to integrate into our world. And it's not been easy. We've got a lot of eyes on us, including Dr. Ian Malcolms, and we're relying on you to work with each of our clients on their specific needs to ensure their park's success. Some require a focus on breeding programs or managing disease outbreaks, whilst others might have specific interests in flying reptiles or marine species. As your role will extend beyond managing just a single park, working at sites across multiple continents and with various teams, it will be more than just dinosaurs you'll have to manage. You'll be working closely with consultants from 3 different sectors who'll be keen to see their interests considered when it comes to any decision-making. And those decisions will impact on your parks, opening up some exciting opportunities. First of all, we have George Lambert, the regulator for security. When it comes to the safety of your guests and dinosaurs, he'll be on hand to provide any guidance. Then there's Dr. Kajal Dua, our contact for the conservationist sector. she'll be wanting to see you prioritizing your dinosaurs' welfare and focusing on those breeding programs. And of course, there's the entertainment sector. Isaac Clement will be your liaison here. There's a lot of exciting attractions you can bring into your parks. And Isaac won't just be supporting you with the action in those parks. This sector also covers the marketplace, where you can buy dinosaurs. But don't worry, we've worked very hard to legitimize the marketplace, so we don't repeat previous parks' mistakes. As I mentioned, you'll be managing several parks across the globe. As your skill set and research grows over time, you'll be able to freely travel between all of your parks, keeping them up to date with the best technologies and dinosaurs that you've discovered. While these sites are gorgeous, they do come with their own unique challenges, but I am sure that you'll take them all in your stride. And I have no doubt that your global efforts will be a success.
So we also got a global campaign feature focus. Showed us many things surrounding the campaign, such as the dynamics with the security, conservation and entertainment divisions, as well as showing off several of the maps that will be available, and multiple in-game looks at some previously unseen species, and also species we haven't seen a lot of, such as the Diplodocus in the Badlands of Montana, where we get a good look at the juveniles. We also see Stygimoloch, Pachycephalosaurus, as well as Dimorphodon, Carnotaurus and Megalodon. The campaign is certainly shaping up to be an interesting beast. It's much longer and it's looking to be more engaging based on what I saw in the preview event. So I'm really looking forward to enjoying a long play of the campaign and seeing where the story goes, because it looks like there is a proper story with this one. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens and just what kind of dinosaurs that will be interacting with across the planet. And also we got to figure out what that 10th map is. A little bit more on that later. Week 3, our database entry saw the additions of the previously confirmed Dilophosaurus, the Pachycephalosaurus from the previous feature focus, Baryonyx with the baby greatly resembling the one seen in Jurassic World Dominion, as well as the deluxe edition Thanatos Dracon. We also got Stegoceratops properly confirmed, and the more exciting Kronosaurus as well. The Gigantospinosaurus also returns with its distinct shoulder spikes. Dimetrodon is of course returning with the weird puppy dog look of the baby Dimetrodon. Gallimimus also entered the database, and we also see one of the first dinosaurs we ever created in Jurassic World Evolution, Edmontosaurus, making its grand return, sporting its in-game appearance inspired by the Regalis species.
Introducing the Megalodon, the apex predator of the prehistoric oceans. Now reborn in your park's lagoon. This colossal mackerel shark commands attention with bone-crushing jaws and a size that dwarfs even the mosasaur. Megalodons tend to be solitary and territorial, so ensure large enclosures and minimize competition to keep them at ease. Be sure to carefully monitor their well-being. These giants demand constant attention, but offer unmatched spectacle. Powerful, primeval, unrivaled. The Megalodon truly brings prehistoric legends back to life.
We get a really good look at the returning Megalodon swimming through the beautifully customizable lagoons, of which we see some new sunken boat decorations. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of new things that we haven't seen already, but it is fantastic to see Megalodon back in Evolution 3 as the biggest predator in the game, and certainly a species that we wanted for a very long time in Evolution 2, and we finally got it. So yeah, since it was a late game addition, it's good to see it back. Though I do wonder if the hierarchy will change, with Megalodon being the biggest, whether the blue whale size rebirth Mosasaurus gets added at the size we saw in the film. It will be interesting to see that. Week 4 was easily one of the most exciting database entries, including the previously confirmed Megalodon, the Deluxe Edition's Protoceratops, as well as the confirmation of Spinoceratops. However, the most exciting reveals came in the forms of Acrocanthosaurus, the chunky carnivore making its grand return, as well as the good mother reptile itself, Maiasaura, with the male being a decent improvement on the design. Can't wait to see the possible patterns with this one. We also got Muttaburrasaurus, one of the most famous Australian dinosaurs, of which I greatly appreciate. The exciting return of Dryosaurus, a good smaller herbivore to go in with your Stegosaurus and your Brachiosaurus. Coelophysis also returns to give us some Triassic representation. Chasmosaurus, who, for those who know, the baby reminded me of 26. If you know, you know. But yeah, any fans of Dinotopia out there, let me know in the comments. And also Geosternbergia, which was our first pterosaur confirmed for the new game. Another bit of footage that we got showed off was the swimming and wading abilities of multiple species, including Spinosaurus, Dimetrodon, Brachiosaurus, Ankylodocus, and Patagotitan. So all of the large sauropods can wade, so that would include Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, and Mamenchisaurus, as well as Dreadnoughtus. And we have 5 species confirmed to swim, so that would be Spinosaurus, Dimetrodon, Baryonyx, and Pyroraptor, as well as Spinoraptor, which we will see a little bit later. And the next week was another exciting data entry, for me at least, confirming the return of Yutyrannus, that I was 100% confident on, that was the identity of the silhouettes spotted in the balloon tour footage. So yeah, I had no doubts in my mind. And we also have the Deluxe Edition's Concavinator, the Pyroraptor, which can swim. And I'm excited to see how colourful the male will be able to be with the different skins. We also see the return of Plesiosaurus, giving a nice balanced roster of small, medium and large plesiosaurs in the lagoons. We also have Spinoraptor, which will be able to swim. And we also get Struthiomimus, the first animal we ever created in Jurassic World Evolution. We also see Dimorphodon, which was previously confirmed, especially considering we saw it in the feature focus for the campaign. But an interesting thing to note here is that the juvenile looks a lot like the Dominion variant. So I think, because the Dimorphodon in Dominion was small enough to count as probably a baby, so it makes sense to use it here. Allura Titan, arguably the most colourful hadrosaur from the previous 2 games, makes its elegant return. The Nodosaurus also returns here too. And lastly, the Lost World's Mamenchisaurus, not quite being in line with how it is represented, but having a more horizontal posture, but it's still cool to see it return. We got a couple of new campaign images for a few of the different maps. One of them being for the Hawaii map. At least I believe it's the Hawaii map. It looks like it, although it could easily be the Indonesian one as well. But we see a custom building down here that's actually built into the map, map's ocean, which is something that you really could not do in the previous game, but you will be able to do here, which is going to be really exciting. We also see Parasaurolophus in this image with the babies running around, and the male standing proudly on this hilltop. And so the dimorphism here is the male has the shorter crest, though I feel like it should be the other way around, with the female sporting a shorter crest and the male with a longer one. Dimorphism is a little bit spotty in some species, where like what should be a female is a male. What's supposed to be a female should really be the male, and some dimorphism that we'll get to a little bit later. Is not quite in line with the films, and yeah, we'll see that just a little bit later. We also get the campaign map, of which we know there are actually 10 levels. So the ones we know of, we have Montana, Nevada, Kauai, Sichuan, Katsuyama, Nusa Tenggara. We also have the Azores, Malta, and Italy, with the Biosin Sanctuary. So one is missing that we do not know. So interested to see what that will be. We also get a research panel with several hatchery upgrades, so you can see different sized nests, different like egg clutches, and all sorts of stuff there. Different fences, piscival feeders, and I think there's another feeder from there, which is like shoal, even though I think the marine fish feeder is supposed to be the shoal. We also got a few questions answered by Frontier, asking how big the campaign was. There's 9 levels. We also get confirmation that juveniles can be attacked, and also can injure guests. Juvenile maturity can also be toggled, so you can keep your juveniles young as long as you want. Sandbox mode, all species will be available from the get-go, so if you don't want to go through the campaign, you can just get started in Sandbox. Modular building will have a grid system, so for those probably wanting to recreate JPOG, this is the tool for you. And yeah, I think that was everything. And there was a question about like graphical and audio improvements, of which there are, and they certainly do improve the game experience. I'm just wondering who actually asked that question, because it certainly wasn't the first question that came to my mind. Then a separate DIN page was opened on the Jurassic World Evolution 3 website, which shows a couple of new images, one being of the family unit of Troodon, where we get a pretty good look at the juvenile here, with the bright reddish-orange eyes, the male with a nice pattern there, and the female sitting on the ground. Also a shot of the transport crate. This is on your first campaign level in the Montana Badlands, where you got the Diplodocus over there, the Lokiceratops below, and this looks like possibly the helicopter leaving or arriving with the new Corythosauruses that you are going to get. And then a quick shot of the security camera up close. So a few preview event findings. Combat remains the same as the previous game, which isn't too surprising, but behaviors and that sort of thing, we'll get into it a little bit in a little bit. Those are able to be updated, so it's not like it's a be-all and end-all if the combat's completely the same in this game as the last, but you know, it can be updated. The variants are also back, so the Frontier variants for Giganotosaurus, Dreadnoughtus, Iguanodon, they're all returning, so that's great to see. I know a few people were worried, but they are back. I just don't think they don't have sexual dimorphism currently, so that is something that will be updated later on, I'd say. Also giving them unique juvenile models too. We also get a confirmation that the cage or like the transport crate actually releases the animals, which is good to see. It's certainly something that I was excited to see being implemented. Sauropods can't fight back, so unfortunately, but this is also something that can be updated. As we saw in the previous game, they completely reworked Spinosaurus, giving it the JP3 kill animation, added Gigantoraptor hunting, pterosaurs attacking helicopters, and lagoon social animations, all being added via free updates. So if enough of us pine for it, sauropods fighting back and hadrosaurs fighting back should be something that's added in a later update. The baby sauropods are bitten and knocked over by predatory species. Don't know what it will be for others. We also see that the movie skins are gender specific. So the females are all the females from the franchise. So Blue, Charlie, Delta, Echo, the 1993 Raptors, the females from the Lost World, and the females from Jurassic Park: The Lost World. Jurassic Park 3, I mean. And so the male would have the male skin, so that would be Quilliam from JP3. So yeah, and all the others that are like for a specific sex that was represented in the films or the shows, that's what it's going to be. Pyroraptor is also definitely confirmed to swim, as the Gaming Beaver showcased in his gameplay video. And Swerve, in his little gameplay video, he showcased that Spinoraptor is the last fifth species. Is the fifth species that is able to swim. So, I mean, it doesn't swim with as much grace as the others, but it is able to swim. Functional bridges are also not a thing in the game right now. Something that may also corroborate the theory that all the Camp Cretaceous species will be in the game at launch is the fact that both Big and Little Edie's skins are in the game at launch. So is Toro, as well as the Scorpius Rex and Spinoceratops. So I'd say other things like Bumpy, the Tarbosaurus, Oranosaurus, Kentrosaurus, Monolophosaurus, and Nothosaurus might all be in the base game too. And Frontier's own little preview event stream, they showed an interesting path tool that allows you to create an automatic ramp that goes down a steep slope. So that is going to be pretty helpful when navigating some tricky terrain with the path. And also got a good look at the juvenile Guanlong.
Try to keep up with the Ornithomimus, an exciting speedster for your herbivore exhibits. Resembling modern ostriches, these agile herbivores move in lively groups and are perfect for creating dynamic paddocks. Guests love watching their bursts of speed and group behavior, especially when they explore or play together. Easygoing and highly compatible, they mix well with other small herbivores. Just give them plenty of territory to roam. Energetic, expressive, crowd-pleasing, the Ornithomimus can bring movement and joy to every corner of your next exhibit.
And today we had the Ornithomimus showcase, so our fourth, and I'm assuming final new species for the base game, and it's an absolute beauty. Ornithomimus was certainly a species I wanted to see added into the game, for the same reason as we see here, because it would be feathered. And it certainly does not disappoint. It is a beautiful looking dinosaur, and I'm sorry, Archaeornithomimus, but you're just going to keep going down and down in your possible use for me personally. Like, if I have the option to use an Ornithomimus instead of an Archaeornithomimus, especially an Ornithomimus that is fully feathered, well, I'm going to use the Ornithomimus that's fully feathered. Like, it is an absolutely beautiful creature. I love the colours on the male's neck. The run animation is fairly similar, but it does look to have some uniqueness compared to the other Ornithomimus, so it has some things that differentiate it a bit, which is great to see. And yeah, I'll definitely be using this in my parks, because how could you not? It is an absolute beauty. And I would say the new species that we've seen so far, the 6 that we're getting with the base game and deluxe edition combined, so that would be Patagotitan, Psittacosaurus, Lokiceratops, Ornithomimus, Guanlong, and Protoceratops. All their designs are a real good sign for the future of Jurassic World Evolution 3 with the new species that are going to be added. They're all going to be absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I can't help but be excited for that. But yeah, Ornithomimus, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. And we also had our database entry this morning. So 10 species added to the database, starting with the Ornithomimus. Yeah, it's definitely my favorite Ornithomimid in the game right now. Dinosaurs' return would also be good. We also get Chunkingosaurus returning here with its adorable little baby. Compsognathus finally being seen as well, with its baby with its massive head. So the small animals like Compsognathus, Microceratops, Moros, and Trepidus, they will all be able to breed and have little babbas who will be almost impossible to find in the enclosures that you build for them. We also get Diplodocus, which we saw quite a lot of in the preview event. Indoraptor fully confirmed to return. Metriacanthosaurus, another bingo card. Animal is ticked off, which is great to see. It's certainly an animal that I wanted to see return, just because, well, it's Metriacanthosaurus. Like it is a classic from the first game, and also the Jurassic World website. It's been around for a while. We also have Nasutoceratops. Now this is the one that I was talking about earlier, with dimorphism not quite lining up with the films. So I know the T-Rex doesn't quite do it, but Nasutoceratops especially. So we do have canonical dimorphism in the Nasutoceratops, with the male being a bit bigger, as well as having a slightly flatter frill, but also longer horns that curve right out, and also a sharper ridge on his snout. Like, it looks very different to what we're seeing here, which really just looks like the female that was in Battle at Big Rock, and the female in the game just has shorter horns. But yeah, so I hope that's something that can be TLC'd later, because yeah, I was really hoping for the male Nasutoceratops to finally show up in the game, but now, yeah, it doesn't look like it will at the base game, but hopefully that is a TLC that can be done later, because yeah, that is a little bit disappointing for me, as Nasutoceratops is one of my favorite ceratopsians, and certainly one of my favorites in the franchise. So I hope we can get the proper male design. We also see Parasaurolophus, as well as Scorpius Rex, fully confirmed. We've got 2 hybrids this week, so that's all the hybrids confirmed for the game now. And we already had the hybrids on the list. And Sinoceratops, finally being 100% confirmed, even though I feel like it was already 100% confirmed as soon as Spinoceratops was revealed, because you know what's used to make it. And yeah, I feel like the female's head, or at least the frill, is probably a little too small. Like, it looks a little bit disproportionate to the body. So yeah, it's a little bit interesting there. But that is the species that were revealed this week. So let's check the roster. So we are now up to 80 of the 86 species with Deluxe Edition included. So with base game it's just 76, and yeah, we are 6 species away from completing the roster, although I would like to suggest that a possibility, I'm not going to remain confident on this, that there are potentially more species in the game than 82. So, I mean, I'm only basing this off the fact that the database, it updates with 10 species every week, although the database at the bottom no longer has a bunch of extra slots. So maybe that's a signal that maybe next week is our last database entry. So we're going to get the 8 species that don't have database entries that are already confirmed, and the 6 remaining species that we haven't seen yet. Those being Therizinosaurus, Oviraptor, and potentially some of the Camp Cretaceous species. And that is another thing. There are not enough spaces left for all the Camp Cretaceous species, and all the Camp Cretaceous content looks to be in the game from the start. So, like, looking at the roster here, we only have 6 slots. Oviraptor and Therizinosaurus take up 2, and then there's 4 slots. Tarbosaurus, Nothosaurus, Oranosaurus, Monolophosaurus, but then Kentrosaurus is dropped off. So I'm thinking that there will be like maybe there will be 86 in the base game and 90 with Deluxe Edition potentially, leaving room for maybe just a smidgen more species that are returning from the previous game. Dinosaurs, please. Or Gigantoraptor. Like, that's what I'm thinking, because it really doesn't, the numbers don't line up here. Like, we're filling out the roster much quicker than we really should be, and I feel like, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more than we previously thought. And honestly, if it was 90 species, then it would work well with the slide here. 3 complete columns. So I think I will just add spaces up to 90, just in case I end up being right. If I'm not, well, I'm not right. But yeah, so we have 2 species added to this now, Ornithomimus and Metriacanthosaurus. And if we look at the bingo card, we have filled out 3. So we have Pyroraptor, Mamenchisaurus, and Metriacanthosaurus that have all been confirmed in September. And yeah, let's see how many more we can get. Can I get a straight bingo? Like, I'm confident on at least the top row or the left row, or left column. Please. I mean, I feel like if they're all canon species, I should get it, right? But yeah, fingers crossed that there are more spaces in the roster than meets the eye. But that is all for September's Roundup. So lots of stuff happened this month, and yeah, loads of reveals for the roster, more than in any of the previous months, that's for sure. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on all the stuff that happened in September in the comments. What week was your favorite database entry? I'd like to know that. Your thoughts on Ornithomimus as our new species, and yeah, any more thoughts? Leave them in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.